I'd love to start this episode off by thanking the person who commented on my Titanic double feature. You know, the person who commented about, oh, I thought you were going to be doing that Titanic Sinks and Panic story by Goth Princess 666. I thought you were going to be doing that story. Thank you. Thank you so much. Because now I have to review not that said fanfic, but I have to review this bloody Stardusts Pokeball fanfic by the same author. Now, some of you might be wondering, well, why are you all upset about this? It's theorized that Goth Princess 666 is the same person that wrote that infamous My Immortal fanfiction. And I can see why they might think so, although it might just be a copycat, but either way, I can tell just by reading the summary that this is going to be atrocious. The thing is, the creator was going to have me read that Titanic story, because it was a fanfiction mentioned in the comments, it was technically considered a request. But the word count for it was a little over 900 words, and because I got a little sassy with the creator over how she decided to go about creating the new opening for my web show, she decided to have me read this story instead. Oh yes, that's right. I now know why the camera was randomly on in the last episode. It was because she was creating the opening. I mean, I am grateful that she created the opening, because I did ask her to. But, you know, I thought she was actually going to, you know, talk to me about it and, you know, actually go about filming it or telling me what was going on or saying, oh, by the way, we're going to film the opening. But no, she did it with me being completely unawares. That's why when, near the end of the opening where it shows me and I'm kind of looking at the camera looking all confused, that's why. And then me looking annoyed, that was when I realized that the camera was on and that it was spying. And now that's going to be the bloody opening for the rest of my series, unless she makes another one. But you know what? It is what it is. Let's just get this over with. So, Stardust's Pokeball by Goth Princess 666. The summary. Stardust finds a Pokeball and masks havoc. Rated M. For mature stuff to come. No preps allowed. Now complete. Rated M. It's English. It's romance tragedy. 9 chapters, but it's only a little over 1,600 words. How do we have a 9-chapter long story where the word count is not even 2,000? Has 24 reviews. 1 fave, 1 follows, updated back in 2008 November. I mean, it might be the original writer for My Immortal, because I think that writer said preps and stuff too. Either that or it's a copycat. Let's just read the first bloody chapter. I headed out to Sydney. Get it, 'cause I'm gothic and I like death. Harry flowed me outside. Who the bloody hell is Harry? What are you doing? Asked Harry, watching me walking around. I'm just taking a walk around, I said seductively. Now that I'm the most popular grill in Skull, I have to take a break. Harry giggled. They actually spelled giggled right. I smelled sexily at him. I think it's supposed to be Harry, like Harry Potter. But if it's supposed to be Harry Potter, then have this be a crossover with Harry Potter, not just in Pokemon. Is it even in the right genre? Okay, it is. It's in Pokemon. Then I noticed a shape hidden in the grass. I looked on the floor until I saw a ball. Harry, I shouted, have you seen this ball? Wow, that entire sentence was actually perfect spelling and grammar. Huh, amazing. You're losing your touch by being an imbecile. And then the next sentence, never mind. The bow shined bright in the sunlight. In the moonlight. The moonlight. I think it's supposed to say sunlight, but moonlight, unless it's supposed to say moonlight. Either way, that's not spelled right at all. I picked up the ball. Again, perfect sentence. It was black and gothic. It had the word 666 scratched on the surface, and I felt a strong power as I held it up. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking this is just someone who's trying to copy her because they keep slipping into decent spelling and grammar every now and then. We have so much in common, I said to the ball. The ball shook a little, and Harry came over to look at what it was. The ball fell to the floor and came out a creature. Pikachu, it yelled while making much of electricity. Well, it's supposed to say electricity, but it actually says electricity. A-N. I looked at your comments and made some improvements to my spelling. What do you think? Well, maybe it was worse before. That's the end of chapter 1. Chapter 2. It was a black Pikachu, like them ones you see in the cartoon. Only this one is gothic, but there is no black Pikachus in the anime. Or the manga. Hi there, I said seductively. The black Pikachu, or Pichu, Pikachu, looked at me, and I held out the Pokeball for it to go into, and it returned to the inside of it. Harry Potter, so it is supposed to be Harry Potter, walked back in the main Hogwarts with me still holding my bow. Harry laughed. I licked having this bow. Then I heard a noise. It was McGonagall. Foul, obscene child, she screeched while adjusting her feather hat. I looked up. How dare you miss my direction? She screamed at me. Harry watched as I got shouted out. Then, suddenly, I held up my ball. Where did you get that, you filthy youths? She yielded. I threw my ball to the ground. Go, Pokeball, I screeched as my black Pikachu came out. Pika, it said. Pika, Pika. My Pikachu jumped up and down suddenly. Electric shock, it yelled while zapped on McGonagall. Oh yes, because assaulting a teacher is really going to get you out of detention. I laughed immensely. Harry laughed too. And then you both got expelled and thrown in jail. The end. I wish. My Pikachu smiled. It knew it had done me a good job. McGonagall ran away now. We would have to deal with the problem of her reporting my Pikachu. Ian, hey guys, I showed my ratings to my texters today. Not this story, but some others. And she said they were quite good. I highly, bloody doubt that. But I need to focus a little more as I'm writing them. So see, guys, my stories aren't bad, so stop leaving bad reviews on my other ones. "5 minutes later. Sorry about that brief pause, my camera was about to die. So I borrowed Meg's portable battery that she usually uses for work. And it seems to be keeping it on, so there we go. This is why you make sure you charge your cameras before you start recording a web series. Right, so we're on chapter 3, unfortunately. Let's proceed. I giggled as my Pikachu came out of its Pokeball and started jumping around the grass, or on the grass. We were now sitting outside. I surprised Pride? What is Pride? On some black gothic perfume. You're supposed to say spray. That's supposed to be sprayed. Which smelt so gothic. What does gothic smell like, I wonder? My Pikachu jumped up and down. It liked my perfume. Suddenly, a tall figure overshadowed us. We looked up. Well done, lassie. Fancy running into your ear. It was Hagrid again. Hagrid graved at me. I want to take you let slowly, said Hagrid, trying to rip off my cloths. Harry tried to stop him, but he was too weak. Suddenly, my black Pikachu jumped up. Gothic attack. Suddenly, a black light zapped Hagrid, and he crashed into the lawn. Then my Pikachu, or my Pikachu, if I'm just saying how they spelt it, jumped on my head and started to laugh, dearie. Laugh. Started to laugh, not laughing. What am I bothering? It's not even going to listen. And this was written back in 2008. We sat on the grass as my Pikachu sat with me. It made all our problems go away. I liked it so macaw. Suddenly, we heard footsteps behind us. It was Dumbledore. We ran off as fast as we could. Suddenly, my Pikachu ran back into its Pokeball. We jumped into the bushes and started to screwing. As in you guys were shagging. You're trying to run off from someone who's pursuing you. And you're like, oh, you know what? I'm in the mood. Let's do a quickie then. Dumbledore walked straight past us. We laughed. Ignorant old fool. A.N. I can't believe I didn't comment on this sauna. But don't leave a comment if you're a prep. What the bloody hell is a prep exactly? Right, chapter 4. Dumbledore finded us when we were in the main hall, eating a chicken. I heard, began Dumbledore, that you have a Pokemon. You do realize that Pokemoms are disallowed on these very premises. I nodded. I don't have one, I shouted. It's true, Harry said. She doesn't have one. Why would she lie? She saved the skull. I see, said Dumbledore. McGonagall might be going What? What the bloody hell is that? I just don't know what that's supposed to be. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I don't know where they were trying to go for there. Soil. I don't get it. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Let's read the rest of the sentence and see if it makes more sense. I'll have to arrange some pills for her to take. Is it supposed to be like delusional? I don't know. That was just bizarre. Okay then. And then Dumbledore stepped over. We laughed. Now everyone would think McGonagall was mental in the head. I hugged Harry and we continued to eat our chicken. It's supposed to be 2 words there, but it's 1. I went upstairs. It's supposed to be upstairs, to my dormitory and put the Pokeball in my bag next to my book of Bat Insides and the Never-Ending Story. Suddenly, my black Pikachu popped out of my bag. It shook its head, so it wanted to be carried around by me. It hopped back into he Pokeball, and I carried it round Skull all day. It was my most important item I ever had. Harry locked upstairs. He was locking for me. I ran over to him. He laughed at me as I went downstairs. Today would be a god day. And thanks guys for your support. Chapter 5. 4 more chapters. You know, this is only like a 1600 word story, but it feels like it's going on forever. Suddenly, I looked to the window. There was some prep climbing through the window. I rushed over to shut the window, but the prep had already climbing through. He took my Pokeball and ran over with it. My Pikachu, I screamed as he ran over. I ran after him, shooting spells at him with my wand. Another grammatically perfect sentence there. I'm being serious about that. Pika! Screamed my Pikachu. I ran over after him, and he ran out the door. Suddenly, he turned and released Black Pikachu from the Pokeball. The Black Pikachu tried to run to me, but the prep put it back in the Pokeball. If you come any closer, said the prep, I will smash the Pokeball. Well, yes, but smashing the Pokeball wouldn't harm the Pokemon, it would just release the Pokemon. I stopped, and he ran off with my Pokeball. Harry ran over to me and could tell something was wrong. What's wrong, Stardust? Oh, her name is actually Stardust. That'd be like naming your child Dandruff. I'm sorry, that was bad. He asked. I told him all about what had happened. We went to the police to report it. And I bet you didn't see none of that coming. Chapter 6. We waked into the police station. I bust into the room with Harry flowing close behind me. Foul children, screamed the police chief. Why can't you grow some manners? No, 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 I said. Someone robbed my Pokeball. So what? Said the police chief, who was obviously annoyed by what we had just achieved. Get out or I'll make you all arrested. We ran out of there as fast as we could, and we got back in the Batmobile. The Batmobile. The Batmobile. Now this is crossing over with Batman. A.N. 'Cause I'm a golf lol. We spaded down the road and went to the next person who could help us. Dumbledore. You filthy brasts. Dumbledore screamed at us. What do you think you're doing? Someone stealing from Stardusts 2. You can't even spell your main character's name correctly, said Harry. Someone robbed my Pokeball, I shouted. Dumbledore looked in disbelief. So, you did have a Pokeball, he said. Well, well. Now we need your help to get it back, I shouted. Dumbledore shook his head. No, he said. He beckoned us out the room. He beckoned us out of the room. What? He showed you out with bacon? What do you mean by that exactly? We walked sadly down the corridor. Now what are we going to do? I asked miserably. Hello. Excuse me. Yes, thank you. Bloody fanfiction.net. I go to click on the next chapter and it has a pop-up. It's like, yeah, can you not? Chapter 7. I looked outside the building of Hogwarts. I saw the prep with my Pokeball. I rushed out sea-eyed. Harry followed me out. The prep was throwing my Pokeball around. How dare he? I rushed over. I kicked the prep on the floor and grabbed my Pokeball from him. I started to kicking at the prep. Kicked. Not kicking. I know that was utterly pointless because this entire story is utter garbage, but still. I put my Pokeball in my pocket for a while for safekeeping, you bloody moron. Harry began to help me make a kicking. I laughed as we kicked the prep into some squeezy mud. Suddenly, mud was all on the prep's cloths, so he committed genocide. I took out my Pokeball and smelled. I had my property back. Harry smiled at me too. This requires a little celebrate victory, said Harry. I laughed and we started to screwing sexily. We screwed all about the floor. Then we went back inside. It was Tim to go back in. A.N. I bet none of you saw Ted coming. I'd like to surprise you all. You surprised me with your sheer stupidity and lack of writing skills. Chapter 8. I went back to my dormitory and held out my Pokeball. It shined a brightly light and my Barlick Gothic Pikachu came out. It laughed and jiggled. It was happy to see I half released it and it was with me again. Harry came into the room and we started to screw. Then I noticed my Pikachu was watching. Stay up, I said to Harry. What if my Pikachu was watching? You just said that it was. Harrier laughed. Look, said Harry. He's enjoying it. A.N. Not in like a pervy way or nothing. If someone is watching you and your significant other making love and they're enjoying it, then obviously they're liking it in a pervy way. And also, you're supposed to be children. Why are you having sex? My Pikachu was laughing. I don't think he understood what was going on. I put him back in my Pokeball and we continued to screwing. Continued! What the bloody hell? I laughed as we screwed in the ROM. I had my Pokeball back, and I had Harry, and I had a lot of things no one else had. I should be happy, and I was, but not too much 'cause I'm gothic lol. But something wasn't quite right. I shook it off as we continued to screwing. Continued to screw, not screwing. Right, the final bloody chapter. We ended the day and Winnet to bed. Then I went into my dormitory. I saw a present on my bed. I ripped it open and it was the new album by Simple Plan. I scram of excitement. Harry rushes to the room. Just there, you sweetie, he says, smiling, and then he walks over. I lay down happily and put the CD in my bag, ready to listen to tomorrow. I got out my Pokeball, and my black Pikachu came out. It squawked happily. I went to bed. It was God. And I win. Pretty epic, right, guys? Oh yes, it was so marvellous. It was so epic. Epically bloody stupid! What the bloody hell was this bloody garbage? And I'm sorry, you said in the last chapter that you had a bad feeling something was going to happen. Did you forget about that, or were you just bloody trolling? You probably were trolling. My God, I bet all these stories are like this. This person has written 6 stories. So the bloody Titanic sinks in panic. I'll just read all the summaries for you so you have an idea what these bloody stories are about. Only if you actually read the story, you'd see it doesn't, because I like to use a time machine and go there and stuff. Rated M for mature minds only, now completed it. And then the next story. Happy New Year. It's a Harry Potter story. I wish you all a Happy New Year. Complete. Okay. Stardust Pokeball, which we just read. Stardust and the Never-Ending Story. So I'm assuming this Stardust person is supposed to be her as a self-insert. She's just inserting herself into all of these genres. So here's the summary for the Never-Ending Story one. Stardust and the Never-Ending Story. It has Stardust in it being such a great golf. Sam as my other stories, no preps allowed. Simple Plan rock, rated M like my previous stories, cause I don't want you to see material you should now complete. Me Against the World, which is another Harry Potter story. Oh, there's 2 of them. Me Against the World and Me Against the World 2. The first one. Me Against the World. Strange things happen at Hogwarts. Please read. Named by the song by Simple Plan. Don't leave a comment if you're a prep. Rated M, cause some mature things happen now. Complete. Wow, they actually spelled complete right. And here's the summary for the sequel. I call it 2, but is not really. It's just the unconcluded things from the first one. That would make it a sequel. Or, if it's supposed to be the incomplete stuff from the first story, maybe you should open up the first story, put the stuff in it as extra chapters, and there you go, Bob's your uncle, you have 1 story instead of 2. Like where the potions went and stuff, same as before, no preps allowed. What the bloody hell's a prep? What is a prep? What is a prep? What is a prep? Right, we're done. We are done. That was bloody garbage. That was such bloody garbage. That was so bloody stupid. I would say don't send me stories that are obviously my Immortal clones. But I don't really have a say in what goes on in this web show anymore, thanks to the bloody creator! But I digress. If you liked today's episode, please be sure to leave a like and leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I would greatly appreciate it. Oh, and you're probably wondering, Susan, would you recommend any of Goth Princess 666's stories? No, I wouldn't. Maybe they would be entertaining if you were drunk or high. But aside from that, they're not enjoyable, they're just bloody stupid. Now that that's off my chest, I will see you all in the next episode. Until then, cheerio.